Finally, on the education front. I'm running for the U.S. Senate, and I do understand, you probably make a valid point to me, well, education is a local issue, and as Arlene knows, I am passionately for local control of education. But, running for this office, I feel an obligation to put this issue out there and to expose the hypocrisy of the left in this state and nationally on our education issue. I would almost be willing to lose, I don't even want to say, I'd be willing to lose other areas. We cannot lose education. We can't. We've already lost the indoctrination process throughout our school system. We've already lost the control argument because you cannot choose where you go. You can't. We can't do that anymore. It is the civil rights issue of our day. And if you don't believe that, let me give you a number. For those who've heard this speech, you probably quote the number yourself. But we have 20,000 public high schools in the country. 2,000, just 2,000 are responsible for half the dropouts. If your skin is black, not like mine, you have a 50% chance of sending your kid to one of those schools. Folks, how you cannot say that's our civil rights issue, because the left, make no mistake, couldn't care any less about that. Folks, could not care any less. Do as I do, not as I say. They have voted down any attempt at reform. They don't care. That is the facts. They don't care about those kids. But we do. We as Republicans and conservatives have fought for this school choice issue for eons, and we are losing to moneyed interests that have sold these kids out for years. We have an obligation in any office you're running for Board of Ed to U.S. Senate, to the United States President, to say those kids deserve a shot. You know, when you walked in tonight, if I would have said to you, all tall kids in Baltimore City and Prince George's County go to a terrible school, you would have looked at me and said, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Well, why? I picked an arbitrary physical characteristic, height, right? Totally arbitrary, has nothing to do with intelligence. Does anybody dispute that? They go to poor schools. Let me rephrase the same sentence. Let's just put another arbitrary physical characteristic. Most black kids in Baltimore City go to a poor school. And you go, okay, that makes sense. Does it? I just said to you the same thing twice. The same thing. I picked it. The first one was absurd. You'd walk out. But the second time, you nod your head and you say, yeah, you're right. Folks, that is pathetic. That's our fight. And I want to be clear on this. It's not my fight. I'm in Anne Arundel County. We have a fantastic public school system. My daughter's public schools are incredibly good. They are so good that the Catholic schools have a hard time competing because the parents at the local level are involved and they don't allow it. They don't allow any of this anti-American nonsense. They don't allow subpar teaching. They don't allow it. They'll show up there with pitchforks if a teacher even flunks one student and she couldn't fix it. I'm telling you, the parents in my neighborhood, God bless them. It's not my fight. But it is our fight as Republicans. Those are our kids too. The melanin component of their skin is a ridiculous characteristic. And we have sold those kids out for years. It is insane. How many iPads, how many car engines could have been created? How much energy technology in Baltimore City and Prince George's County if those kids would have had a shot? The same shot you had. You're no different than them. Nothing. You have no capabilities. Collectively, they don't. There's nothing wrong with them. There's no them. It's just us. But they have no shot. Folks, they have none. What you see here, this beautiful house, this beautiful property, which these fine folks have worked hard for, they have absolutely no shot of obtaining in their life at all. There is no American dream for them. And what does the left do? They lecture us on inequality as these phonies sell those kids out. Unacceptable. And that's our fight in Prince George's County. You know, I left the strategy issue out. I left it out intentionally. Because people say to me, how are you going to get those votes? I say, how are we not getting those votes? You are asking the wrong questions. We are talking about the wrong things. We put a billboard up at every entrance at the Baltimore City. And we say, are you happy with your child's public school? If not, Bongino.com. Don't mention anything about Republicans. Just get them to the website. Get the ideas out there. And let them see it for themselves. And, wow, they really are phonies. They are phonies. I'm not trying to be confrontational. I'm not calling them out personally. Their policies, their politics are fraudulent. It's a fact. and Arlene's been fighting this fight a long time. She's probably forgotten more about choice in education than I'll ever remember. But I mean it, folks. This is our fight, and that's how we get those votes. I want to wrap this up by telling you, Maryland, our home, is not and never will be a lost cause, ever. I use that term specifically because a prominent official, when I first started this, said to me, "Why are you doing this? You gave up everything for Maryland. It's virtually a lost cause." That's a movie that'll never stop playing in my head. Really, it's a lost cause. That's amazing that you'd say that. Let me just give you the evidence as to why it's never been a lost cause, and you're only being told that to pacify you, so you stay home. Crazy Republicans, stay in the house, it's a lost cause. Quite beneficial to them that you believe it, isn't it? It's not beneficial to you. 1984, Ronald Reagan in Maryland. You know what he won here? You know what he won by? 5.49 points. Not a squeaker, folks. Our Maryland. Look it up yourselves. Google's the ultimate polygraph test. Plus OP videos, everything. So I can't okay? 5.49 points. Was Ronald Reagan a big government rhino? No, I don't think so, folks. I don't think anyone made that mistake. Ronald Reagan ran on clear conservative principles. You spend your money better than they do. You deserve choice in health care. And I don't think we're really doing much for your kids in the inner cities for education. People said, okay, that makes sense. When we run as centrists, we lose. When we run on clear ideas, we win every time. George H.W. Bush won here. He won here by 1 point. A little less, but it was a Reagan legacy that carried him. When Bob Ehrlich won here in 2002, absent some social issues, he ran on a very strict conservative agenda. So did Ellen Sauerbrey. And we won that race too. Yeah. Folks, we have a lineage here of victory over the last 40 years that's pretty comparable. And yet, it's a lost cause. It's only a lost cause because they want you to believe that. We've won here before. We can win here again. And even if you, for some reason, leave tonight and say, it's going to be an uphill battle. Okay, stipulate. The loudest messages are always sent in the uphill battles. It's those fights that matter. Folks, the Senate race in Texas doesn't mean anything. The Republican's going to win. It's not going to make the front page of the Drudge Report. Yeah, anyone know who John Hickenlooper is? You're probably like, I've heard the name. You know who Scott Brown is, don't you? You know it because that was the message to the left that, my God, we really screwed up. Yes, and you screwed up here too. And you're doing it right now. The sales tax, the mortgage tax, the gas tax, the fees, the tolls, the hikes, traditional marriage. They're trying to now repeal the 2A ruling we had. They have no intention of conceding any Republican ideas. They have overstepped, folks. There are no lost causes. There are causes you believe in. Causes you're willing to fight for. And causes you're not. That is it. Now, if the government was knocking on your door tomorrow to take your home, would you say, I'm not fighting for this, it's a lost cause? I'm not telling you they're doing that, but I'm telling you they're driving to your house. So if you believe in your home, and you believe in this state, then it's time to get up, and I challenge you to do more than just show up at this event tonight. And it doesn't have to be with my campaign, but it does have to be for the cause. Because we cannot cede any more ground. If they're going to win this race, we are going to make it politically painful. We draw a line in the sand and say, we're not leaving. I'm not ceding any more ground. You want to win this, you are going to spend your money, you are going to spend your time, and you are going to make this nationally a priority for them, where the union folks that have to come in here and the money can't go somewhere else. Because when we give up here, you have done yourself no favors. All you have done is let them spend that very same money on a race to beat up a good Republican somewhere else. So I ask you, please, get involved somehow. Volunteer for us, volunteer for someone else. Just volunteer for the cause. I don't ask you to give up your job like I did to do this. But I'll tell you, I'm in this to win it. I'm not in this for any moral victories. No more silver medals. So thanks for having me, though. It was